All right. Hello, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are at. My name is Kayla Rowe. I am the client account consultant for Opus Management, and welcome officially to our first 2023 Water Cooler Wednesday. So I'm really looking forward to spending Wednesday breaks with you guys. I hope that you'll join me each week. Let me know what's going on, what you guys want to talk about. Otherwise, you'll get to listen to me talk about what I feel is important right now. So, I hope this year started off great. I know that everybody is looking forward to great things in 2023. I have not heard any of my friends say that it's going to be their year yet, but I know it's coming. I'm super excited. I have been here at Opus Management. I started last year with the group and really excited about what we're doing. So we would love to have you follow us on social media, whether that's subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or even LinkedIn. Keep up with all the things that are going on and get in on our IT Thursdays when those start popping up. Owen, I know, is going to do a great job. So today, just want to step into this nice and easy, and I really want to talk about the language that we use. So just recently, my mom took in her dog to her vet, and I spent quite a bit of time in the veterinary field. A lot of my friends on LinkedIn and a lot of people that I know, we talk about typically what's going on with their dog, what's going on with their cat. They always call me once they visited the vet and they get this long printout and they're like, what does all this stuff mean? So my mom went in and, the technician came in and she was using some abbreviations that my mom wasn't really sure about. She was talking about a TPR and talking to her PM and, that she's got to start these SOAP notes. And it kind of made me realize after my mom got home that there's a lot of abbreviations that companies use that are common terminology for their partners or employees, but it's not common terminology for the general public, for our customers, right? So things that she was talking about, the TPR being the temp, pulse, and respiration. And yeah, it's really basic, and a PM being a practice manager is kind of basic, but sometimes these are stressful situations. In any kind of field, it can be a stressful situation. And we're not thinking immediately about, oh my gosh, what do those letters mean? We're more worried about what's going on in that moment and not trying to sort through what letters could be. And that's something that it can really hurt the bond for the client. But what it can also hurt is it can hurt new employees. So if you're hiring or you're interviewing and you're using some of the shorthand or abbreviations or terminology that's very specific to your market, it can hurt you. You can alienate your clients. I saw it again on social media the other day. I was looking at some post from a friend and they were sharing about what they're doing in their business. But what they were looking at was something very in depth. It was very, very high level. It wasn't necessarily end user friendly. So it was something that I wasn't sure what she was talking about. Like, it probably sounded really great. It really was probably something that I would have been interested in, but her terminology wasn't inviting. It wasn't a term that I understood, and it wasn't something that I wanted to look further into. So that is a piece that I think that as we go into this new year is something that, I'm really going to look into. Social media is really big. Everybody is wanting to be TikTok famous and, you're wanting to go viral. But what resonates with your customers? What resonates with your family members or your friends on there? What's really going to engage them? Because that engagement piece is so important on what we do every day, right? If people don't feel like you're being honest, they're not going to open up and ask questions, and you could miss a lot of opportunities. A lot of this comes from me taking on this position here at Opus. So I come from the veterinary field. I spent, I don't know that I want to age myself, but I spent 17 years in the vet field. Not as a veterinarian, but on the business side. I went from a kennel tech all the way through practice management to managing districts, markets, and territories. And there was a lot of things that just, they came easily. I spent a lot of time learning about profit and loss statements and really digging into a P&L. And the terminology and the shorthands and things that, I understood really well, and I was able to teach my direct reports, they were second nature to me. I didn't think about it. When I started talking to somebody and I was like, oh, what was your ROI? And, what was your ROA on that? It didn't dawn on me that when I would get new direct reports, whether they were transferred in or somebody that I hired, without really digging in, when I got these new reports, I was I was closing the door on them. I was shutting them out by assuming that they knew what everything was. Eventually, during one-on-ones, we would get to where their holes were. But I did, in full transparency, lose a partner or two because they didn't understand all of the terminology. And there's nothing worse than sitting in a meeting or sitting in a conversation and feeling like you needed to Google what was being said, right? When we're talking about a P&L. And I understand that's basic, but again, we're talking about language and that piece of communication, right? And so I'm going to use a simple term, profit and loss statement. Nothing's worse than sitting through a meeting or through a conversation and having to be like, oh my gosh, I need to remember that because I need to look it up because it seems really important. So as we go into this year, being able to take the time and keep that true open door policy, really looking at the communication or really looking at the language and the verbiage that we're using, I think is going to elevate us all. Taking that moment to stop and ensure that you're not getting lost faces, whether it's a virtual meeting or an in-person meeting, welcoming people into new industries, as I have been welcomed into this new technology industry. I think that's going to be a big movement forward. So think about your communication, whether it is written, it is spoken, it is virtual. Thinking about that communication and the terminology that you're using as we go forward is going to be big. I would love to hear a time that, someone made you feel more welcomed by checking your understanding, or a time that you weren't. This is something that we all struggle with across the board. Learning something new, getting into something new, it can be a little overwhelming. It can be a little frightening, but things change every day. And I would love to hear more. We can talk about it more on another Water Cooler Wednesday. Outside of that, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media with Opus Management. You can look us up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and YouTube. opusmanagement.us is our website. We are available and would love to talk to you about your business's needs, integrating more technology into your business, or even your social media needs, and being able to connect with your customers or being able to reach your specific customers. So let's all crush 2023 and let's all keep moving forward. Tune in next week. Next week, we're going to talk about some goal setting and moving forward with your team behind you, or with your family behind you, whether it's personal or professional goals. Because goodness knows we're in January and it is a great time to start talking about that. I will see you guys next week and I look forward to it.